Oh, this is a quick video about let's see, what's it called? Public decency laws. I know what people are thinking is like, don't we already have those in America? Technically, um, we have nudist speeches and stuff. But I'm not talking about that. Um, I'm not talking about anything physical with clothing. I'm talking about more so speech, right? And I'm sure people are going to say the rebuttal to that is that free speech. And I would say yes, I would agree with you on that. But my thing with that is, if you are in a common place, let's say a grocery store, or a museum, or a mall, or I don't know if people know what town squares are, a public park. I'm not talking about a national park. I'm talking about a park close by to children. I'm not going to really talk about movie theaters. I'm not going to talk about anything that requires you to pay to get in, like an amusement park. People are going to call this dystopian, but I believe that if you are paying to use someone's services, they have the right to tell you what you can and cannot say in their premises, because you are agreeing to their terms of service. Like let's say you're going to a concert, right? And they're like, hey, you can't make loud noises, you can't film, stuff like that. And people are caught filming in a concert after you were told not to, and they can't say, well, nobody told me. It's like, no, you bought a ticket, you agreed to the services, we're going to kick you out and not give you a refund. Sorry, I have acid reflux. I feel like something really doesn't want me to say what I'm saying. So yeah, and I know this is a bad time to bring up anything that Europe is doing and call it good, because they're kind of in self-induced shit right now, up to their neck. But our system isn't doing the best right now. And I think if we're going to tell other people how to live, then we kind of owe it to the rest of the world to at least look at what they're doing and see what works. Before I start my talk, like, to get off the tangent, all I'm going to say on this is that the founding fathers weren't all Christians. They weren't all Catholic either. They believed in many different things. So the fact they were all Christians or Catholics is a lie. A lot of them were Masons. Their concept of what God is or whatever is wildly different. Members of the Jacobins and the Hellfire Club and the Masons and the Rosicrucians and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that was the founding fathers of America. And Benjamin Franklin was a cross-dresser and a spy in the court of the King of France. So those are all verifiable facts. But what I would say is that let's take a beach, right? Let's take a beach, a public beach that you don't have to pay for. It's not attached to a resort, so no, people can't bring that up to rebut what I'm saying. Anybody could go there. You have men, women, and children going there, let's say on the weekend. It's packed, full of people. And people walking dogs or whatever. And then I'll make this religiously androgynous so someone can't get butthurt or say, it's the crazy Christians, because I know that they're the whipping boy. They're the whipping boy, really, for everyone. I know they make it easy. I come from that religion. I can understand, especially when it comes to King James crowd. But when someone sticks their face in you, in your vicinity, and what I mean by that is picks a spot where everybody can see and hear them and starts yelling. starts yelling and shouting, and I'm not even going to get into what they would be saying. I know what they'd be saying. I, as a kid, was part of that bizarre humiliation ritual where they feel the need to embarrass your kids in front of all of society and alienate them from the people around them. So they feel like they're not part of anything. But that aside, is that sort of thing. When I say like getting in someone's face in a public space, I don't always mean I'm getting in your face, noses are almost touching, and I'm yelling at you like a drill sergeant. When I say that, I mean if you're walking in a crowd of other people and it's like the flow of traffic, right? Everybody's moving at a moderate speed. Nobody's running into each other. They're all like, everybody agrees on this one speed. Everybody's going that speed, and then you got that one asshole that's going way faster, zipping in and out of traffic, and he gets pulled over, and then he yells at the cop and says, I'm going the flow of traffic, and the cop says, bullshit, you're not. It's the same thing. You could have a market where everybody's talking to each other, and then someone starts yelling. And what that person is doing is getting in everybody else's faces. Right? They're not going with the flow of traffic. And I get how some people in other countries would be scratching their head and saying, well, of course that would be against the law. And I say, well, you're right. It would be against the law. But in America, we have something called free speech. And the same people who pull that shit out are the same people who pull out the rules for me but not for thee when the liberals do something, and then the liberals do that when the Republicans do something. It's like a bunch of childish shit pointing fingers at each other. Suffice it to say, every religion does this, right? And so what I'm proposing is that in America, we have decency laws. Right? Think of it like a burqa for your mouth. If you are yelling, I don't care what you're yelling. You could be, let's say you're a monk. There were monks that went into village squares and markets in front of children, little kids, and lit their living asses on fire. In many cases, they stripped naked. They shaved their head. And they lit themselves on fire in front of everyone. And suffice it to say, the ones that were who got put out, got in a lot of trouble for that. And the funny thing is, a lot of people who point that out, who do that, point out America. It's like, well, Americans get to do that. One, we fought for that right from the British, right? So that's a whole other tangent. That's not what this is about. Unless you're going to go into someone's personal space and be like, hey, do you mind if I talk to you about insert religion here? Do you have some time? Can I hand you this pamphlet? Something like that. Being polite about it. The same tone you would take when you would ask a stranger how they're doing. Or, excuse me, can I get through? Like, polite conversation. If you were going to start yelling, then you were going to proceed to go with it, you are going to hell. It's like, who are you to tell me that? Right? But that's beyond the point. That's an extreme example, right? You have people who are Muslims do that. People who are other parts of other religions do that. Mormons are just as bad. Westboro Baptist Church is basically its own branch of Christianity at this point. You get my point. Let's see, how long is the video? What I'm getting at, to keep from rambling, is I'm trying to get people to understand what I'm saying, right? Because I get that change is hard. I get that as humans, we don't want to change and do things even if it is for our own good. And if we have more people telling us that we're doing a good job, even if we're doing a shit-ass job, then we've got those good boy chemicals in our brain saying, you're doing a good job, even though you could be doing the worst job in the world. Don't listen to those people giving legitimate criticism or feedback. You don't need to change. You know, that's just how it is. You know, just think about this. What if the World Trade Centers weren't attacked by hijacker? Instead, a rookie pilot was sitting in a seat, steering a passenger jet with his knees. And instead of everybody saying, no, what you're doing is a terrible idea and you shouldn't do that, you're doing a good job, champ. Keep doing it. Now, sure, you're a little bit below the horizon line. It's okay. You're not that close to 2 buildings. There's no way you're going to hit them. And then the one stewardess in the back is like, well, maybe we should pull up. Maybe we should get someone else to fly the plane. And everyone's like, no, Jim's doing fine. Keep going, Jim. Thanks, guys. And then hates the trade centers. Yeah, that's what that's like. So I guess to end the video, what I'm proposing is just copy England's homework. That's it. See what they're doing with their public decency laws? Because let's be frank, no one gives a shit what someone does in their house. To a point. It's what people do in public. Right? And I think it would be good to just focus on Christians or Catholics or any one religion to keep this from becoming a he said, she said argument or a pissing match between the religions. Because quite frankly, people are tired of it. Everybody rapes their kids in various ways. Everybody steals from their parishioners. Everybody lies. It's all a farce. It's all a farce to take your kids and mess with them in various different ways and steal the money out of your wallet. That's all religion is. I'm sorry. Come at me, bro. But yeah, you know, that's the video, and thanks for watching.